Failure. Failure sure is something all of us have felt before. Failure to get the grades your mom asked for, failure to meet your work deadlines, then getting yelled at by your loving, caring, and compassionate boss. We've all been there, except the boss part. I haven't. Well, not yet. How about we jump into a time machine, wind back in time to the beginning of grade 10 to hear my story of failure. So here we are. It's 2023 again. I was sitting in one of those congested school benches, the ones where your knees touch the desk. As I shuffled my legs in discomfort, the teacher walked in and she announced that we were going to be the ones hosting the school assembly. For some reason, the tips of my fingers started to tingle. I had an idea for a rather unconventional topic of sorts. And somehow, I even finessed my way into talking about this unique topic, the emergence of the gaming industry. I was ecstatic. Anyone would be. I was given the chance to talk about what my heart truly desires. Well, that burst of joy didn't really last for very long, as soon I had to come to terms with reality. That I, Rikith Jamalpuri, had to address a crowd of 500 people. I wasn't the frightened you feel when SRH is on the verge of losing a match. I was genuinely frightened. I was horrified at the thought of messing up. It felt like the world was going to end if I did. And consumed by all this fear, you know what I did? Literally nothing. I went to school the next day with a half ChatGPT speech and hazy eyes. As much as I prayed that it wouldn't be my name that would be called next. Eventually, my time came. I somehow managed to muster the guts to walk up to the stage without tripping over my own laces. I even started to talk. It was going fine. Till suddenly, I forgot what I had to say. I stammered miserably and lost my tempo and flow completely. I walked off the stage dejected as my speech ended abruptly. Even my own friends, they didn't leave me alone. They were like, Rikith, what did you expect? I was hurt. I was embarrassed. I wanted to curl up in a ball and cry. As I walked off the stage that day, I vowed to myself that I would never do anything that had the slightest chance of putting me in such a jam ever again. Well, that vow, it didn't really last for long either, as my friends dragged me to an MUN. I was in a similar situation yet again. The days of the conference rolled around. I went all suited up, but on the inside, felt like I was putting on armor to enter the battlefield. I didn't even dare to open my mouth to speak on the first day. All I did was drink water again and again from my water bottle and enjoy the food stalls. I wasn't even allowed to scroll reels. Because of the MUN's decorum, I was forced to sit and listen to the conference proceedings. Then came the delegate of Sierra Leone. She just had that spark to her. The way she represented her country of 3 days, it was admirable. I remember thinking, Sierra Leone? Never heard of the country before. What relevance could Sierra Leone possibly have in a UN committee? She proved me wrong, represented her country with pride. At that moment, it struck me like a bolt of lightning. It's not just about speaking. It's about how each of us have that message, that unheard perspective, that one unique insight that the world needs to hear. Sitting in that MUN for just one day, it made me realize why we should even speak. And that maybe, just maybe, that 1% chance of being in a jam might just be worth it. The next day, I walked in less nervous, more excited. I had just one goal, to speak once, just once. The fear was still there, but today, it wasn't getting the better of me. I was sat there, my trusty water bottle by my side, and eventually my time came. My name was called. It felt like my heart had skipped a beat. Felt crippled by those embarrassing flashbacks from the assembly mess up. But again, somehow I was able to deliver my speech. Again, it wasn't without fault, but it was a long way from where I had started. Soon, the conference began to draw to an end. The award ceremony began. That delegate of Sierra Leone I was talking about, yeah, she won Best Delegate. And I felt like I had to congratulate her. So I did. We even became good friends later. I didn't win anything. And honestly, I didn't care. Because I knew that the learnings from this conference were greater than the significance of any award. I just got into my car, looked out the window, and smiled. I felt liberated as the conference drew to an end. Looking back today, asking the question, what made my speech work? It makes me remember something. My new perspective to speaking that day. My changed attitude. I was in my usual worried, what if it goes wrong self. I had somehow managed to get out of my mind. I had shifted the focus from myself to the audience. It had significantly reduced my self-consciousness. Lesser the self-consciousness, lesser the anxiety. Again, this isn't just a personal observation. It's research backed too. Published in the very critically acclaimed journal, The Frontiers in Psychiatry, a study states that shifting your focus from yourself to the audience helps significantly increase the positive emotions as well as reduce anxiety. This seemingly insignificant practice I had of shifting my focus from myself to the audience, it made that difference. It was only later that I realized how much value it held. It threw that mounting anxiety I had straight out the window. Again, this audience-centric method of speaking, it wasn't my only discovery from this MUN. I noticed something else. Wow. A certain obstacle that most people face while they speak. Their poor panic response, especially after fumbling a line or forgetting something. So what's the normal human reaction to do when you fumble or forget? You panic. And when you're panicked, you subconsciously start to speak faster. It's like your brain doesn't like this feeling of fear and wants your speech to end ASAP. You become Eminem trying to rap. It's like your brain cells are at war as you speak. In a way, your brain is plotting against you. This is by far one of the worst things you can do while speaking. The way to do it is not to become Eminem, but rather an Arijit Singh, who's trying to convey a story through his mellow tunes. Slow down, and slowly but surely you start to gain your composure. You get a rest period for that sudden influx of negative emotions coming your way. Your mind and body feel relaxed. Trust me, it works so well. So now that I've done talking about slow rate of speaking and how it changes the playing field, how about I introduce my favorite tip, the box breathing method. I'll tell you what you have to do, how to do it, and then you do it. So firstly, you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for another 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold for yet another 4 seconds. Got it? Here I go. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you feel? Hopefully it made a difference. It didn't? Well, maybe because you're in a stressful environment with nothing to worry about. Try it before that exam you think your life depends on, or a stressful math situation. This is the box breathing method. All you need is a pair of lungs for it to work. Speaking is less about the actual content and more about control over your own mind. In my opinion, this method works best for accomplishing this control, and in my opinion, the least complicated as well. Questioning the validity? Well, not anymore. The box breathing method is a standard procedure used by US Navy SEALs to reduce their stress. If those scary looking guys on the screen use the box breathing method to reduce their stress, it probably works for us too, right? So, tips aside, how would I tell you a story? This time, a story of how I actually overcame my fear. So not so long after the MUN, another opportunity came my way. One of my friends who had shifted to the US, he was back in town. He gave me a call and he said, Rikith, one of my mom's friends owns an NGO. How about we meet up and do some good work together? I was like, sure. What's wrong in helping those who need it? Again, I had no idea what we were going to be doing. Cleaning the planet, distributing food, I had no clue. A bit skeptical, I still went. Turns out it was a skill learning workshop of some kind. As I entered, there was a lady giving a talk to around a group of 30 to 40 students. The students completely uninterested. After what felt like forever, her talk finally came to an end. And the owner of the NGO, she came up to us and said, you guys are going to be giving a talk on the advantages and disadvantages of social media. I was stunned. I didn't expect that I would be asked to talk. I wasn't feeling my best. But I was there, standing, without my legs shaking. I knew I had a message. I let this message and my genuine interest in the welfare of these teens take care of the rest. This is nothing but the audience-centric method I mentioned earlier. I started to talk, and slowly but surely, I got my flow. I got my composure. Whenever I didn't know what next, I slowed down and rethought the structure of my speech. I talked for not 2, not 10 minutes, but for a whole hour. It was only after I had calmed down that I had the realization, the scale of what I had just done. I felt like a changed person. Not so long after I was done, a crowd surrounded me and my friend. And one of the students asked a very innocent question. भाई आप इतना अच्छा कैसे बात कर लेते हो? In English, this would be something along the lines of, how are you able to speak so well? I was over the moon. I had successfully learned from my failure, learned and improved. I could give you thousands of analogies, from water bottles to battlefields. But there's it's a feeling that everyone deserves to experience firsthand. The feeling of getting over one of your fears. Again, going from someone scared to hold a mic to becoming a fluent speaker wasn't just a one-off effort or sheer luck. It was because I made mistakes, learned from them. At the end of the day, what's the shame in making mistakes? We're all human after all. What's the point of worrying about one speech or one presentation? No matter how many tips or tricks this speech may have listed, at the end of the day, each of you is unique. You're one amongst 8 billion souls. Some tips might work better for some than others. But what's not unique is the effort you put in. So, public speaking isn't exactly the same for everyone either. For someone, it could mean giving the speech to contest for the student council. For someone, it could mean giving a speech at the best friend's wedding. Public speaking is completely subjective. Each of us have our unfair advantages. Each of us start in different places. Don't strive to be Shashi Tharoor. Strive to be better than who you were. So, but if there's that one thing that everyone could do, regardless of where they start, to become a better speaker, it would be to put yourself out there. Look at me, the same kid who would do anything but talk at an MUN. The same kid scared to talk at a school assembly. Talked for a whole hour in front of where even a group of moody teenagers cared enough to listen. Yeah. All because I put myself out there. It doesn't have to be a TED Talk. Volunteer to present your group project or that sales figure in your company. Just put yourself out there. Start talking. Make yourself uncomfortable. Trust me, it works. Step up and stand out. Rikith Jamalpuri signing off. Thank you.